There's so much going on, so much going on. Everything that used to be is no longer. It's the end of the world as we know it, and it's after this show, it's the end of Rooster as we know it. This is our last show, young guy.
Oh my goodness.
Our last show for a while. It's too confusing. I don't know what's going on. Do you know what's going on?
No, but I'm hoping that we'll be back soon so we can find out more.
I mean, the market's not closed yet, but it's another market going nowhere day. Other than I think the NASDAQ was dropping a little bit. But I think it's all over. I think the old world as we knew it is over, and it's time for us to go back to the library. I think you and I are going to go back where it all began, where I met you in the library.
Oh, the books.
All of us readers of the great books on economics, and trying to figure out exactly what's going on. Because if the paradigm changes and people are using the old paradigm to invest, I think they're making a big mistake. What do you think about that?
Absolutely, because people tend to have a herd mentality. They're all followers.
Yeah, Mr. P talked about this with his systems degree, and Mr. P, I mean, the guy knows what he's talking about. And people, they go to school, they keep repeating the same stuff, they keep teaching them the old way. If people don't follow the old way, then they get an F. You got to tell the teacher that the old way is going to continue, or the teacher gives you an F, right?
Absolutely.
So unless
I got a lot of those, by the way.
Yeah, but because you're an innovative thinker, you were saying, hey, wait a second, I don't think it could continue to be that way.
I am Mr. Counterintuition.
Yeah, a counterintuitive person gets Fs in school.
Yes.
That's why all the great thinkers had a tough time in school. So let's go back to the stock market paradigm. I mean, what's the old paradigm of the stock market?
Up and away.
8%, right?
Every year.
Yep, long-term, well, not every year, but long-term investment is the stock market. If you want to retire, you put all your money in the market because it will outperform every other market. It will perform every other form of investment. So the herd, I mean, have you ever known so many people who are in the stock market as today?
No, it's amazing.
Everybody. They got 401ks, they got IRAs, they want to make Social Security. I mean, it's you know, everybody thinks that this old paradigm will never ever come to an end. And you know, maybe it won't, but I mean, obviously it's possible it can. And YG and I think we have reached the end of the old paradigm. And when we're in the library, we're going to be trying to dig into the new egg and see what's going to hatch. You know, we're gonna break an egg.
Sounds like my breakfast, actually. Thank you.
You don't eat the yolk, do you?
No. I'd like to, but I can't.
I know, he eats the yolk. I mean, he's the white, I eat the yolk, and we try not to waste anything other than the shell. But we're going to try to break into that egg in the library and try to figure out what's going to happen, what's going to be the new paradigm, because I think we're entering a new age, YG.
A new age, a new way.
I do. I think that the next 100 years, the next century that we're already in, that it's going to change. I think what Mr. P said, that the people who think it's going to be different than it was before are going to figure it out faster than the ones who continue doing what everybody else is doing, is where it's going to all be at. So as we are in there searching, we're going to be looking for what exactly this new paradigm is and how we can make money at it. Because we like to make money, YG, right?
Oh, yes.
We don't
the ladies, you know, they just need it. They demand it. I have to give it to them.
The ladies need it, and we don't want to go back to work. We're just too darn lazy for that.
No, absolutely.
But we really think we got a sense of where the new paradigm is. And I hate to have to... Do I have to break this, or are you going to break this?
No. It's up to the OG to break all the news here.
All the bad news?
I only break the positive news.
I don't know that this is good. Everything's good news for some people and bad news for other people, and we'll get into this later. But here's what we think the new paradigm is, everybody. And don't cringe. I mean,
don't cringe.
We think it's socialism. If you look at the guy with the gun to his head, we think that's the government saying, give me your money. And we think this is the wealthier person, as well as some consumers. But we'll talk about that more later. But we think we're in the age of socialism. We think that the next 100 years could be the era of socialism for our country. And frankly, we don't see a way out of it right now. It's YG and I read a lot of economic books. I mean, we've read, especially YG over here. I mean, what are some of the great economists?
The reader extraordinaire, but the man of the, I think of the millennium, Karl Marx.
Karl Marx, over 100 years ago, wrote a book. It's the smallest economics. You know, economists are kind of long-winded. They can't seem to write a book that's less than 400 or 500 pages. Karl Marx did it in 100 pages, and basically what Karl Marx said was that capitalists are always seeking out the cheapest labor, and that capitalism will continue to prosper as long as they could find out new sources of cheaper labor. Karl Marx said that over 100 years ago.
That guy should have chosen my lottery numbers.
Yeah, and his hair, I mean, the guy had a lot of hair, so he could never got elected to political office.
And it looks like his employees were still trying to grow hair.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he figured kids would be the last bastion of cheap labor, and guess where he figured the last countries where the cheap labor would be?
And where are those countries?
He said in his book over 100 years ago.
100 years
ago. Over 100 years ago, in the 1800s, he said that when the cheap labor starts coming out of China and India,
ooh.
When the cheap labor starts coming out of China and India, that will be the end of capitalism in the Western world as we know it. The end of the world as we know it. Karl Marx said that over 100 years ago, and guess what's happened in year 2008?
What's that?
We've hit the brink. Wages are now going up in China and India. So the end of cheap labor is over. Capitalists can no longer find a cheaper source of labor. It's the end of the world as we know it, as predicted over 100 years ago.
My goodness.
And you know what Karl Marx said would happen to the Western world right after cheap labor ran out globally? When global cheap labor ran out, he said the age of socialism would begin. He said that there will be no other choice for countries in the Western world, particularly the United States, the most developed economy in the world, would obviously be the biggest target, that there would definitely be a strong, strong movement towards socialism. And what we want to do in the next two segments is take you to Rooster School and tell you what's going on that's moving us towards socialism and what we predict will be the future changes in our economy, in our government and our consumer that will continue this movement. Because as much as we hate to say it, and we almost feel it's anti-American, and I'll tell you, nobody believes in America more than YG and OG. I mean, we love America. America the beautiful, God bless America. We're total patriots. But hey, we, like we talked yesterday, said that there's a problem and we need to change it. So we have to reveal it. YG, OG, this is tough love. But hey, love is what we're all about even if it's tough. Right, YG?
We'll be right back.